Hey Taurus sisters, it's Amy. In this video, I'm going to go over this packing list printable. It is a free printable. I will put the link in the description box below. And it is not just a Sukkot packing list. It's an epic Sukkot packing list. And if you're already an expert level of going away for Sukkot and actually packing everything you need, then none of this is for you. You don't have to get this stuff and you don't have to watch this video, but this might be helpful for those of you who are either new to doing the Feast of Tabernacles, or what we also call Sukkot, or you're new to going away for it. Maybe in past years you've stayed home. This year you're gonna go somewhere. You might find this list helpful. Now, you don't need to listen to this video. It's actually pretty straightforward. It's just a list of stuff that you might want to take. But I like to talk about Sukkot, and some of you also like to listen to someone talk about Sukkot. So let's go through it. This might be a long video, but I'll tell you some of the reasons some of this stuff might be on the list. And it's just fun to talk about Sukkot because the fall feasts are right around the corner. And I strongly encourage you to go away for this feast. It is a time, how do I say this? You really get to know people well and build relationships better, stronger, faster when you live with people for a week. Not to mention all the spiritual lessons learned, past and future. So I encourage you to make plans. Find some people and go away together. Go camping, get an Airbnb, go camp in someone's backyard, rent an RV and park it in their driveway, something. Be with people for this feast and try to go away for it. Now, some of you can't. I know, that's okay. Some of you do it on your back porch. You do it in your living room. You build sort of like a fort inside. There's a lot of different ways that people do Sukkot. This packing list is just, from my experience. So it's kind of the way Amy does Sukkot. I'm not saying it's the best way or the right way. This is how Amy does it. And also there are two other families that contributed to this list, the Elliots and the Hendersons. Thank you for contributing. So these aren't even all my items. It's all three families' items sort of combined. And if you want to see more items, I'll put a link also to a blog post where I asked the Taurus sisters on Facebook, I said, what is the weirdest, strangest, most oddball thing that you take to Sukkot? And about 37 of them answered. So I put all their answers into a blog post, and some of them are really cool items that they take. Okay, so the first sort of category, I did leave some room for you to write and add your own, but what I think you're going to best do with this is you're going to take the items that fit your family or your needs, and you're going to type them over again into another document. My kids and I go away a lot since we started this Hebrew lifestyle. We're true Hebrews. We're very much nomads. And so we go away for Sukkot. We also go away with other believers for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. This weekend, we're going to a family camp out. This summer, we went camping for Shavuot for the whole weekend. So whenever we get the chance to go and be with believers like that, we go. So what I have done years ago is I have a list, practically this list, in a Google Doc. And Google Doc, you don't know, you can go and research what a Google Doc is. And then I just print it every time we go away. And I have it broken up into different sections, and each child actually has their own page. So I print it for them, I give it to them, they take it to their room and pack their stuff, well, as best they can. My kids are biggish, so they can sort of do that. And then I add to it, as we're packing, I print it, I put it on a clipboard. Yes, I am a geek when it comes to this stuff. Not everything I'm organized, but this. I put all the papers on a clipboard, and that's like the master list. And sometimes at the end, as we're packing, I think of other things we should take, and of course I write it down on the top page. After we get home, I don't throw away that top page. I go back to my computer and I add those items onto my Google Doc. So now the next time we go away, we have those items. And some of the stuff that I might do that with are just things like as the children grow older, the stuff they take. Sometimes I delete old stuff and I put on new stuff. Like now basketballs are the thing. We take basketballs everywhere we go. 3 years ago, we didn't take basketballs, we took stuffed animals or whatever. So things change, right? Your family changes. So that's what I do. I keep this in a Google Doc and I print it every time we go away. So see, this is what we're going to talk about here. Just tips and tricks of how Amy does Sukkot. The first section here is items for worship, or what I call items for chapel or church. So a busy bag for the children. If you've never gone to any of these things before, sometimes the groups have really, honestly, long Bible studies. And if you want your children to sit quietly during the Bible study, you need to have, or service, or whatever you call it, you need to have stuff to keep their minds, or at least their hands occupied. So, and when my kids were small, our busy bag would include crayons, not markers. Markers are allowed. Colored pencils are sometimes loud, but crayons are nice and quiet. So crayons work good. Sometimes gel pens work good. And then some notebooks or some coloring books, activity books, things like that. We also love, hot tip here, moms, hot tip. If you need a Sukkot present for your children that will keep them quiet and occupied, Aaron's putty. Not the cheap other putties, Aaron's putty. And if you can't find the kind you want at like Walmart, go to a bookstore. The bookstores have them in the gift section. It keeps their hands busy. They can do a million different things with Aaron's putty. My rule for my children is that Aaron's putty stays in their lap or on the table. It does not drop onto the floor. It does not get stretched out and make strings. They just keep it close to them, and then it doesn't make a mess. And it keeps children busy forever. Okay, so take a busy bag for the children. I also recommend you put granola bars and things like that in there too, in case potluck gets delayed. Take your shofar, take your feast money, take your Bibles, your study tools, whatever, notepads, pens, journals. Some of you are the musicians, so don't forget your music, song sheets. And even if you're not the official like worship team, if you're in a bigger group and there's different campfires going around, take your guitar, take some song sheets. You don't have to be the official worship leader to say, hey, you guys want to sing? So if you're a musician, take that stuff. It's not presumptuous. I mean, don't be a jerk about it, but take it and offer your gifts and your talents. Take your instruments, take your sukkah, building supplies, however you build your sukkah. Take your tzitzit. Some people, not even a lot. You might want to consider taking a gift for the hostess. So if you're staying in someone's backyard, take the hostess a gift. Some of us in my fellowship, some of us will give little gifts to the ladies. The guys don't do this, but the ladies will give little gifts to each other. Nothing big, nothing pricey, just little fun things. So that has to be on my packing list though, or I will forget it. So do you see how everything on here doesn't have to be done? So this is just ideas. You also might want decorations for your sukkah. So however you're going to decorate it, candles, things like that. Whatever you need for programming. So if you're in charge of crafts or things, take those things. I have to take my glasses or I won't be able to see my Bible. And a bag for services. And by that, I mean like when you go to Bible study and you have to schlep this stuff over, have a bag for that. Maybe when you go, you put it in a suitcase, but have a bag for going like from your campsite to wherever the service is, back and forth. So, and I think I have that. I always take usually at least 2 tote bags to these events. So one is to take back and forth from service. One is like if I'm leaving my campsite and it's snack time and I need to take some snacks up there, I need to have something to carry those snacks in. So I always have like a big Aldi shopping bag that I can load up and carry around camp. Some people also take a wagon or a grocery cart even, because you end up just walking a lot and carrying a lot of stuff. So be prepared for that. When we go away, we usually end up away for at least 9 days. And so we're always trying to find a laundromat. So take supplies for laundry. I also highly recommend you take an entire laundry basket. It comes in very handy. And a lot of times I actually will take 2 laundry baskets and one of them holds all the shoes so they're not cluttering everywhere. Of course, all the different kinds of clothing and shoes you might need to take, all the different kinds of linens. And it just depends. So what you need to take depends on where you're going and how you're doing it. Of course, like if you're doing rustic camping out in the back with no water, no nothing, that's going to look very different probably from my camping list. We often we rent like a Christian camp and we stay often in a cabin. where, like in the summertime, campers would stay in there. So there's bunk beds, there might be a bathroom. Often it's a shared bathroom down the hall, a girls' one and a boys' room, bathroom. Sometimes we rent an RV at a campground. So it depends. Sometimes, well, we're in Michigan, so to do tenting in Michigan is not very feasible most years. So that's kind of where this is coming from. Oh, in regards to clothing, I do have rain boots on here. Take rain boots, especially for your children. I don't know, Michigan, every year we have Sukkot. There's at least 3 days of constant mud puddles, and the kids will play outside no matter what. So they're going to need their rain boots. So I take stuff for washing dishes, dish towels, everything. I always take hand soap and hand towels for the bathroom in case it's not in there. Toiletries, take some toilet paper just in case. And often, don't take it if you don't know if you need it, but know where your nearest like Walmart is or whatever. So that's all very straightforward. I do recommend if you're going to do shared bathrooms, take a shower caddy, something to carry your shower stuff in. And I have found, this is a new one added in the last year, a bath rug. Not all of these places where there's shared bathrooms, because they'll have different shower stalls. They don't all have like a bath rug. So I like to have a bath rug and take some flip-flops or something for those public showers. Now, the kitchen stuff, again, this just depends on, like if you have an RV and it's already in there, or I don't know, but I just put a whole bunch of items on here. I'll take a whole roll of trash bags. Even if you're going to someplace like a Christian camp, sometimes they don't have trash bags, like especially for your personal room. And I just don't like chasing trash bags all over. So I always take a roll of trash bags, and I'm always glad I did. And that saves the camp some money too. So sometimes I take pots and pans, sometimes I don't. Always have a wine opener. You never know. You don't want to be stuck without one, that's for sure. We'll say it that way. Chex Mix containers. These are the big Rubbermaid containers. It's kind of like Tupperware, but they're like huge. I love them. They come in so handy. And they stack up so neatly. So I have 3 of those. I always take all 3. I always take some little Tupperware too. And I also, though, I'm trying to not use Ziploc bags. So these containers, I like them because they're reusable. I wash them and use them again. But I do also take some Ziplocs, and I take some chip clips. You might want things like your crock pot, of course, your Instapot, tongs, dish soap, a potato peeler, scissors. Take kitchen scissors. I always take my popcorn maker, a cooler, or a little fridge. We try to take a little fridge, like a little dorm fridge, whenever we can. I find that just works a lot better. If you take a cooler, take some trays for your cooler to put stuff on so it doesn't, the little things don't get lost in the ice. I take a hanging food holder, and what that is one of those closet organizers for shoes. But it works awesome for food. So some of these camps we go to, our room is just a sleeping room. It has maybe a little bedside table and some bunk beds and a closet. But we want to keep our own personal snacks in there. So in the closet, I hang up, because it hangs on a closet rod, that shoe organizer, and then you can stick your snacks in there, and things like that. And the Sabbath Basket is like this little, I have a whole blog post on it where I keep some paper plates, some paper bowls, and some plastic silverware. So it's just easy to set out on a table. And elsewhere on here, I always take a folding table. Always, always, always. These folding tables now, they fold down so small. It's always on my packing list, and we always we wedge it in. It usually makes our rooms very small. But if you don't have a table to put stuff on, then especially with food, I don't like to put food on beds when I'm doing any kind of anything in my room. So I always take a folding table. Sometimes I take 2 folding tables. And then, of course, take utensils and paper towels to serve the food with. And don't forget serving utensils. So if you're going to make a crock pot meal for a potluck, you need the serving utensils to go with it. And take your coffee mugs and your water bottles and things like that to try to cut down on the waste. Health-wise, whatever you think you need to take. We're also different in that. I do always take itch cream because my kids always get a million mosquito bites. So whatever that looks like to you, plan ahead. And for the children, my friend Rachel and Alex contributed this because they have little, so go through that and add your own. Add what's useful to you. They do always take a baby monitor because some of these camps are set up such that after the littles go to bed, the parents want to still maybe hang out for a little bit by the campfire. And if those two places are close in vicinity, the parents can do that, but they'll have the baby monitor so that they can listen and keep tabs until what's going on. So look over that. The blanket during Torah time is what this family does is they'll put the blanket right on the floor. And I think the rule is like the kids have to sit on the blanket. Sometimes they make them lay down and close their eyes and have some rest time. And sometimes if they're very small, they actually fall asleep. And they do that right during the Bible study, which is just fine. They'll put some special little toys on that blanket, just fine. Even if we do not mind when children make a little noise, because it's a family study, it's family worship. So bring your kids, keep them close to you, and do what you got to do. And they also at Sukkot, they give their kids a little present. Every day they get a new little toy or busy thing or notebook or coloring book or something. So every day for those services, the kids have something new and exciting to keep busy. Not electric things, electronic things. We always take a Bluetooth speaker so we can have music. Don't forget your extension cords, your power strips, flashlights. And my kids are bigger now, but I used to always take a nightlight because when you're in a weird place and they have to get up and use the restroom. Other things, don't forget your sunglasses, your umbrella. Take a tool bag. I always take a huge camping mat. Even if we're not camping, I take one of those big camping mats. Just because sometimes the kids just want a nice place outside to sit without actually sitting on the ground. They come in very handy. I often take my laptop because I find myself using it. The folding table, I take a fan, your lighters, your fire starters. Don't forget stuff for your pets. Some of you might live in a place where you could actually go swimming for Sukkot. Don't forget your bug spray. Always take a permanent marker. Always take tape. All different kinds of tape and a permanent marker. I don't know why, they just always come in handy. Notepads, pens, my tote bag. I'm going to start taking a whiteboard and markers. I don't know if your family is like mine, but after you split for the morning or after Torah service, I sometimes won't see my kids the entire rest of the day because they're off having fun with their friends. I'm off having fun with my friends. And I have found sometimes we want to leave notes for each other. So I think I might just take just a little whiteboard, not a huge one, and have it somewhere in our room where we can sort of check in with each other and leave notes. They can leave it because my kids don't have cell phones, so they can't text me. But they can leave a note that says, "Mom, I'll see you at dinner. I'll be at the basketball court until dinner." And then I can erase that once I've seen it, and I can leave them a note back saying, "I went for a walk with Rachel. I'll be back later." So they kind of know where I am and stuff like that. So when because the kids always come and go from the cabin. They always come and go to use the bathroom, get snacks. Those are the two things that drive us, right? Bathroom and snacks. So they will stop by, and I'll just train them. When you stop by, you look at the whiteboard and see if I left you a note. And always bring camp chairs. Even if you're not camping, bring camp chairs because you might need to take your chair to someone else's campfire. Or some of these places you'll sit for a long time to worship and have Bible study. And some of the chairs are just not very cushy on your tushy. So some people will take their camp chair. I'm not saying who, but it might be me. Some people might take their camp chair to like the Torah study. So take camp chairs, maybe an extra camp chair. All right, for fun, we always take some board games and card games. Sometimes we take laser tag. All the families will text each other, "Are you bringing laser tag?" "Yeah, we'll all bring laser tag." Sometimes we take airsoft, and one of the dads will organize some rounds of airsoft battles out in the woods. Disc golf. Foursquare is huge right now in our little community. Holy moly. So we take a foursquare ball, which is a kickball, and I already have masking tape on the list. So if you have a hard floor, you can put masking tape down to make the lines, or we always take sidewalk chalk to make lines for foursquare in a parking lot. We always take basketballs, footballs, a foldable wagon. I don't have one, but I want one. Bikes, helmets. We don't always take bikes, but like this coming weekend, we will. When my boys were little, we always took Army Guys. Army Guys will keep little boys occupied for hours. And I don't care if they get dirty or even lose a few, because it just kept them busy for hours. They played with them outside and just whatever, like go crazy. So I just have a tub with all the Army Guys in it. We also take Legos. We have a tub of Legos that is our feast. We play with it here too, but we take it to almost every feast. And that's another thing I love about the camping mat is sometimes if there's nowhere for the kids to play with the Legos that we bring, we put the camping mat outside. We dump the Legos out onto the camping mat, and the rule is the Legos have to stay on the camping mat. They cannot take them off the camping mat. And then at the end of the day, we just pick them all up and put them back in the bin. Very easy. And again, especially for those rainy days or the days where the kids are getting cranky, they're getting tired because they're off schedule. Legos keep all ages of kids, boys and girls, busy for hours. Books for downtime. Sometimes, you know, some kids are introverts and they need some downtime back at the cabin alone. And so we always have books from the library that they're reading, so we take them with us. Ooh, you know what I'm going to add to this right here is the hotspot. So we always get, well, not always, but our local library loans out a Verizon hotspot, you know, for Wi-Fi. And it's free to borrow for 2 weeks at a time. And my library, nobody uses it much, so we've had it for the whole summer. They just keep letting me check it out. So that's very handy to take sometimes because you go places where you don't have good internet. Okay, we also take walkie-talkies. I mean, the kids need their walkie-talkies. We always take glow sticks and just general toys. And so this will depend on how old your kids are. Just remember, if you go away for the whole feast, it's an 8-day feast. They might get bored. So take stuff that they can do. Try to take stuff that they can do with other children because there will be kids around all the time. So interactive stuff is really great. If you are actually camping, like in a tent, there's some items here. I'll let you go through that. And the last page is the before we leave page. Things like turn down the heat, lock the doors, get someone to take out your trash, make sure there's no milk sitting around in a rogue cup around the house somewhere because that's nasty. Not that that ever happened to me. Get rid of the food in the fridge because it's going to get gross. Take care of your animals and your plants. So, sisters, that is the epic Sukkot packing list. And just to encourage you, don't be overwhelmed. Goodness gracious, if you go and you forgot something, you're probably with other people who have it. You're probably with people who have multiples of it. And people love to share and people love to help. So if you find that, don't necessarily run to Walmart and buy it again. Ask your neighbors if you can borrow and then be generous back to them. And I think it saves you a lot of driving time too. So yeah, that's it, sisters. I encourage you, go away for Sukkot and have a blast. And if no one's inviting you, organize one. If nobody around you is doing it, just organize one. And it'll work out. You don't even have to have a plan, just have a place to get together, invite people, and then together maybe make a plan. You don't have to do everything. If you're the one who says, all right, let's figure this out, it doesn't mean you have to do everything. But hopefully this gets you started. Leave comments with things I forgot. I probably can't just update this easily, but you can leave comments with more stuff too. Thanks, sisters. Bye.